Hello, I'm Iceman, and welcome to the latest session in capacity development. Today, I want to talk about communication skills. I'm going to give you 3 things that we sometimes overlook when we are getting our message across and when we're talking to people. Now, no doubt, all of you agree with me that it's about having a very important message and getting it across. But what most people do not see or fail to accept or appreciate is that it's more than that. Communication, in my experience of working with over 500 businesses, mentoring so many people across 2 continents in a 25-year period, is this. Communication should be about how you make people feel. Now, what do I mean by that? It simply means this. Even though you're planning your message, you're planning what to say, and you get it across, the recipient should respond in the way that you intended. If you want them to take action, if you want them to give a particular response, it's really about how you make people feel. If you spoke the truth, if you gave the facts and they felt bad about it, they may respond in a different way. So that's the first nugget I want to give you. When you are communicating, always ask yourself this question. By the time the recipient of the message has heard you, how will they feel? Now, when you think about that before you even relay your message, you'll begin to understand that you will plan the tone, the words that you use. The second thing I want to bring out of this is what I call the request before response, or the response before the request. And it's something like this. Perhaps I want to ask a friend for their car keys, and I say, can I borrow your car keys? The next thing he will say is, what do you want to do with it? Well, there's a better way. Instead of making a request, can I have your car keys? Why don't you give a reason first? So my friend's name is Michael. He's got his car. My car's broken down. I might say, Michael, my car's broken down and I need to get back home so I can call someone to pick the car up and fix it for me. Do you mind if I borrow your car keys? So I've given him the reason for wanting his car keys, then I have made the request. It's much more powerful that way, and it helps the recipient or the listener to make an informed message. Let's try it again. Michael, can I have your car keys? Michael will respond by saying, why do you need my car keys? Or what do you want them for? Or Michael can say, well, actually, I'm using the car. Simply because he's not sure why you want it. He doesn't know how long you're going to have his car keys for. And he already blocks you out by saying, the car is not available. But if you said to Michael, my car's broken down and I just need to get myself to my house to make a few calls and get someone to pick up the car. Do you mind if I borrow your car keys? You've already given him the reason why. So he's making an informed decision with regards to the reason that you've given him. And that's what I call the reason before the request. And the third thing is this. In communication, if you listen to inspired speakers, if you listen to motivational speakers, they call them that for a particular reason. The words they use are predetermined and intentional. And here's the tip. And try this at home, try this at work. Every time you are talking now, avoid using these key words. No, never, not, cannot, won't, don't. All the negative not words and no words. Let's try this. I'm asking you, listener, directly this question, and I want you to give me an answer immediately you hear what I'm about to say now. Are you a failure? Now, I bet most of you said, I'm not a failure. Failure is not my portion. So you've just said not. I am not a failure. What you've done there is you've told me what you are not. What you have not told me is what you are. And this is how I would respond to it. Iceman, are you a failure? Failure is part of life. I embrace it and I use it to build on success. Actually, I'm a success. So you can see, I've avoided using the word no, not. And when you begin to practice that, one thing happens. You begin to listen actively. Active listening. I'm sure you know about active listening. As you begin to practice, you will find that if you play this game, even among siblings, work colleagues, what will tend to happen is that when you begin to ask yourself these questions, you're not going to respond immediately. You're going to think about what you say. That's active listening. And then you respond. So it could be, oh, let's meet up at 4 o'clock. Okay, we'll meet up at 4 o'clock. Are you sure you're going to arrive on time? Actually, I might not arrive on time because there might be traffic. You've just used not. I might not arrive on time. Another way to phrase it could be, let's meet at 4 o'clock. Okay, would you arrive on time? I should arrive on time. I hope to arrive on time. However, there may be traffic. So I'm using enabling words. I'm not using disabling or stationary words. And that way you begin to cut out from your vocabulary, from your phraseology, and from your language, what I call stationary sentence or hindering sentences. Because most of the time, what we're not aware of is that we're good at saying what we don't want, but not what we want. So two people got into a scuffle and then you're asking one of them, well, I don't want him to talk to me like that in future. You're saying what you don't want. So we know what you don't want, but that doesn't move you on. What do you want? So it could be, in future, could he address me like this? Could he talk to me in a polite manner? So when you are being effective in your language, those words will not be used. And finally, let me go back to what I said from the beginning. Communication, as we all know, is about getting a message across, but more so, it's about how you make people feel. Think about how you make people feel. Always use the reason before the request. Engage yourself in active listening and cut out phrases and words like no, not, never, cannot, won't, and don't. I'm Iceman. This is Capacity Building. I'll see you next time.